Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's A Walk Through Education Intellectual Exchange. My name is Gloria Ifeyinwa Ayogu, and I am absolutely delighted to be your host for this important and timely conversation. As students across the globe return to school, many of them are not just carrying backpacks filled with books, they are carrying emotional burdens, anxieties, and uncertainties that often go unseen. In this rush hour to get back into academic routines, we sometimes forget how critical it is to support their emotional well-being. That's what today's discussion is all about, ensuring that we are not just educators in the traditional sense, but advocates for the mental health and emotional resilience of every student who steps into our classroom. We are honored to have an incredible speaker with us today, Oluwabunmi Anani, who brings a wealth of knowledge and experiences in both education and emotional well-being. Together, we will explore strategies, share insights, and dive deep into how we can create environments where students feel safe, supported, and ready to learn. I also use this opportunity to welcome our audience. I encourage you all to participate actively in today's conversation. Your thoughts, ideas, and even questions are vital as we collectively work together towards making our schools more inclusive, emotionally nurturing spaces for kids. Without further ado, let's get started. Hi, Bumi.
Hi, Gloria. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Please, can you briefly tell us a bit about yourself and your journey in education? The floor is yours.
All right. Once again, I want to say a very big thank you to you for giving me this opportunity, and also to the members of the audience who are here joining us in this conversation. Well, I am a teacher, and I'm so proud to introduce myself as one wherever I go. As a teacher, my journey started as a child. I mean, right from childhood. I wouldn't say it started when I gained the license or obtained the license to be a teacher. As a child, and as the first child in the family, I had to take over the tutoring of my siblings. So I learned early enough to take up tasks that has to do with helping my younger siblings with their studies. And that instilled in me the spirit of an educator. Now, moving forward, from my own immediate family, the confines of my family, I had to extend that spirit of generosity to my neighbors because they associated me with teaching. So they would entrust their children in my care, especially during holidays. I became a role model in my neighborhood. And from there, after secondary school education, a proprietor who noticed I was staying at home. I hadn't gained admission into the university. I was just fresh from secondary school. He felt that my parents were not helping me to maximize my time, just staying at home, helping my mother out with her business. And so he gave me employment at a school. So I started my teaching journey from the house to the kindergarten class, where I was teaching children. Of course, I was used to teaching children. So from KG, I gravitated to primary 3. Then from that is grade 3. From grade 3, I moved to grade 6, and I began to train children for the common interest.
Amazing.
All right. So on getting to the university, university, I was volunteering. Some of my classmates would meet me, please, we know you're good at this, aspect, in this aspect and all that. So I was doing it with some other colleagues of my classmates at the university. I didn't know I was going to become a teacher, but at my heartstrings, I knew in my heart of hearts that I wasn't going to escape the education space. So lo and behold, I came for NYSC in the far north of Nigeria. A lot of people during camp, as a corps member, the mandatory national service, they expected that due to my, engagement in media, media engagements at camp, that automatically I would be posted to the media house. but I was in for a big surprise. I was posted to one of the first class secondary schools. I mean, first class in the northern area, of course. If you look at the northern area, the context, or
Yeah.
you will call it a first class secondary school at the time. So that was how my foray into the formal purview of the teaching profession started. And I remember, on a final note, some of my students at the government girls secondary school as a co-member, they met me and said, Auntie B, now that you are completing your national service, you've been with us for a year. I mean, we like you as our teacher, but we want you to go to the TV house because a lot of children will see you, they will love you. I mean, they will benefit from you. I told them, no, I am going to be a teacher. They were shocked. Be a teacher? I said, yes, you have benefited from me. I want every other students to have a direct contact with me as well. And that was how I did my PGDE, postgraduate diploma in education. Some people think that maybe it is owing to a lack of employment. No. I had choices. I had good choices. I almost got employment with the media house, but deep down in my heart, I knew I was called to teach. And it's been a beautiful journey, not without its challenges. However, what has kept me going is my conviction, conviction-backed tenacity. And it's been a beautiful experience. Teaching, I've got to meet Gloria Ifeanyiwa. I've got to meet wonderful people in my sphere who says teaching is not a career to pursue. Thank you.
Amazing. Wow, Bumi, this is amazing. Your profile is, in fact, I would say you are a born teacher.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, please, a round of applause.
Yes, I can hear you. You're clear. You're clear. Thank you.
Well done, well done, well done. Oh, I'm very proud to, to be connected with such an amazing teacher. People go into this profession for money, but you are here. You are in the teaching profession because you love being a teacher. Well done, Bumi. I'm really proud of what you are doing. Congratulations. And we are going to do a lot together by God. Okay, let's just move straight to the question. My first question is, what are some common emotional challenges students face when transitioning back to school, and how can teachers effectively recognize them?
Wow. This is a loaded question, really loaded, and it's timely as well. I must commend the aptness, the appropriacy of this topic at such a time as this. Now, before we delve into the kind of emotions that children come into the school with, particularly after a long break, they're coming back to school. Like you said in your introduction, they're not coming back to school with a bag of books. They're coming back to school with a truckload, of emotional baggages, Yes. So now, before we look at the different array of emotional, challenges that children come to the classroom with, first of all, we have to categorize the kind of children we're talking about here. We have children who have academic challenges. We have children who do not have academic challenges. We have children who are from stable homes. We have children who are from dysfunctional homes. We have children whose economic status, their parents' economic status is okay. It can support them. Then we have children who have nothing to fall back on. So they resume back in school with a lot of worry. Now, let's take it a step at a time. Let's talk about the children who are from stable homes. Those children have it all. They have the love, they have the attention, they eat at the right time. Home is heaven. And so some of these children are in boarding schools, don't forget. So once they want to go to the boarding school, oh my God, they feel a sense of loss. You mean I will go to the boarding school away from my parents for 3 months? So the joy they ought to feel, it's eroded at the thought of being separated from their loved ones. So they come to school feeling sad, feeling deprived, feeling cheated. So That is one of the category of students from a stable home being separated from their families, coming to the boarding school. Of course, we have that sense of deprivation. Now, let's talk about the other children who are from deprived homes. That is, they are emotionally starved. They are from dysfunctional families. Daddy and mommy have conflicts every day. You know, they witness it, they sense it, they feel it. Now, whether they are in the boarding school or they are day students does not really matter. In fact, being in the boarding school makes it worse because they look forward to going to school, not because they want they have a good why, as in the rationale behind coming to school is authentic or is good enough. You know, they see school as an escape route, and that is not healthy. You know, because they need a connection with their families. So as teachers, as we are resuming back in school, we know that there are some children who see our classroom as an escape route away from the tension in their homes. What about children who come to school because, oh, there is nothing to look forward to at home? After all, for them to eat even one meal in a day is a challenge. So those children, they come to school again, not as an escape route this time around, especially when the school itself, because at school, they see children who are better off. They see children who display their food, their new acquisitions. You know, these days, we hardly have private schools or public schools who censor the bringing in of certain items. So children are given the liberty to come into the school with what they own or with what they have, you know. So these children come, they don't want to stay at home, and they don't look forward to coming to school because, of course, they are always hungry. They don't have new books to boast about. They don't have new stories to share. They never went on a holiday. I mean, it's still the same routine. So home is not a place to stay. School is not a place to look forward to. So they are always looking crestfallen. They look passive. They are not engaged. They feel left out, excluded, you know, and it makes it worse when they realize that they belong to the group of students called underperforming students. You know how it is with underperforming students, combining the sense of poverty with, you know, their underperforming status. You know how students are. They can feel excluded. Other students can exclude them from conversations. And this has a whole lot of psychological and mental effect on these learners, you see. And I mean, these are just the kind of emotions that children bring. They come with worry, they come with anxiety, they come with a sense of loss, they come with a sense of low esteem. I don't belong here. I mean, I'm just coming to school because my parents want me to come to school. It's a culture, it's a norm. I don't know why I'm here. They don't have a sense of definition. I mean, and there are some who come to school out of guilt. Yes, they are in school, but they are guilty. Guilty about what? My parents had a misunderstanding yesterday because of me. They make themselves feel responsible for the tension in the home, you know. So as teachers, we should expect to see this kind of emotions. Some of them are good at hiding these emotions. They hide them. Guilt, worry, anxiety, low self-esteem, depression, even thoughts of suicide. These are some of the emotional baggage we expect our students to come to school with, even as we resume.
Wow, thank you very much, Bumi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is an amazing response. I'm really feeling it right now, honestly. You know, many students experience anxiety about adapting to the classroom routine, fear of social interaction, and the stress over academic expectation. They don't even know what to expect. Teachers can recognize these issues through changes in behavior, such as withdrawal, irritability, or even a lack of concentration. So early intervention and detection through regular check and observation is the key. That's insightful, Bumi.
Exactly.
It's important for educators to be observant of these subtle signs. You know, there are some signs that we ignore, but they are real. Okay, I will just move over to my next question. Fine. So how can educators create a classroom environment that fosters emotional safety and openness, especially for students who may struggle with anxiety or fear of returning?
Wow, this is another another very good, excellent question, I must say. Now, before I relate it to the educational space, permit me to talk about medical doctors. Have you ever had an experience whereby you want to see a doctor? You begin to scan through, memory lane. Who is the right doctor I could meet? A doctor that would listen to me, a doctor that is accessible, that is approachable, a doctor who is not going to think about what he will get from me first, but he would put my health ahead of whatever benefits or gains he would accrue. You think about that. We have more than, let's assume you have a list of 100 doctors in your journal, but at the end of the day, you search and search, you scroll and scroll, you look at this doctor's name, you say no. You look at this doctor's name, you say no. At the end of the day, you be like, oh my God, I have an array, a list of doctors, but how come I cannot even pinpoint anyone that I could feel comfortable with? All right. So as a medical doctor, as a teacher, you are a medical doctor as well. Our children are coming with loud signs, with subtle signs. So how prepared are you to receive them, make them feel comfortable, and make your classroom and the school community a comfortable place? Of course, we hear what people say safe space. Before we say your school or your classroom should be a safe space, you as a teacher, you should first of all be a safe space. Be a safe space. You are first of all the classroom that students see, even before the physical classroom. You are the one who creates the atmosphere. You are the one who determines, you are the reactive that will determine how students are able to connect with other students, with your subject, with the opportunities that are bound in the environment. So first of all, before you think safe classroom, think safe me. Am I a safe space where my students can feel safe? When my students comes around me, do they feel safe? Do they feel frightened? Do they feel self-conscious? Do they feel like they don't measure up to your standard? Are you high up there? Are you a grassroots teacher? What kind of expectations do you have of your students? Okay. And now that we know that our students, most of them will become, whether they are rich or they are poor, whether they are privileged or not, so they will be coming with emotional baggage. So what are the preparations that you need to do as a place of safety for that child? Be welcoming. Oh yeah, be welcoming. Get ready, be intentional about it. Get ready for it. Talk yourself into it. As we are preparing for school, reevaluate your why. Why am I a teacher? Once we are able to understand our why, and the fact that you recognize yourself as more than just a teacher, just like that safe space doctor recognizes himself that he is more than just, giving diagnosis and then being like a robot that just, no connection, but you see yourself as that clinical teacher, not a mathematics teacher, not an English teacher, but beyond that, you're a nurturer. You nurture those children. So you prepare yourself to welcome them. All right. So now you prepare yourself to be a good listener. Now, talking about welcoming them, I want to share a few things that we could do. You can prepare, cards, welcome cards. It doesn't have to be the school that will provide this for you. You can create it yourself with, low resource welcoming cards. You stand by the gate looking well dressed, looking charming. Remember, our appearance speaks a lot. Children today, they are moved by what they see, not just how good you are. You smell nice, you look good with your smile. Like, I'm interested in you. I'm happy to see you, and stay at the gate. Don't wait until you go into the classroom. Be that teacher that makes the difference. Be that teacher that does things differently. Stand by the gate, looking so charming and beautiful, maybe with a pack of sweets, a few storybooks, or even flashcards. And then another thing, you can have a pile of cards for each of your students. In that card, write something special. What you write in one card should be different from what you write in the other card. Every student should have something special that is genuine. Yes, yes. Give it to that child. Give that child a big bear hug. Greet their parents very well. Let that child feel that, oh my God, I have been missed. Oh, I'm glad I am in school. Then when you come into the classroom, you can interact with them, put them in teams, let them share their stories. What were your experiences, good or bad? Allow them to do public presentations that have to do with connect it with what will make them express their emotions. What did they feel? What did they go through? There is an indirect way of bringing out those hidden emotions from your children, from your students. Once they are able to express it in conversations, through storytelling, through essay writing, through public speaking, that means they are experiencing what we call catharsis. Catharsis means the release of your emotions, and they feel better. Then one final thing before the next question that you may have for me is that intentionally meet with your students. Don't wait for them to meet you where you are. Meet them where they are. During breakfast, intentionally invite them over for breakfast. That means there must be a dining room, maybe a classroom. There's a place designated for such. You sit with a team of students, you gist with them. Yes, be their friend, but don't be familiar. Be genuinely interested in your learners, and you'll be amazed that you'll be the safe place they will always run to, because you will always have a genuine solution to give to your learners.
Wow. Thank you very much, Bumi. Thank you. That an amazing responses. Please, let's give her a sound. Please, I'll just send maybe a clapping emoji for Bumi to appreciate her response, please. Please. It's amazing, amazing. Well done, well done.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so creating an emotional safe space starts with building trust, because that is just what she just said. You have to build that trust. Teachers should encourage open dialogue, provide positive reinforcement, and allow students to express themselves without fear of judgment. When they are free to express themselves without, expecting any kind of criticism, they'll be very free to talk to you. It's also important to acknowledge emotions and model empathy. Absolutely. So empathy is critical. So I want to throw a question to our audience. Could you share a practical, if you have any, a practical classroom activity or routine that encourages students to express their feelings in a non-threatening way, especially in group setting? Is there any? Anybody can respond to this. Should I repeat the question? This question is for our audience. I don't know if you got it. Bumi, did you hear my question?
Can you repeat that again, ma'am?
Okay, I'm going to do that. So the question is, share a practical classroom activity or routine that encourages students to express their feelings in a non-threatening way, especially in a group setting. Any idea, anything? This is for our audience. All right, so let's think about that maybe towards the end of the whole exercise. I will give you the opportunity to speak. Or does anybody, Prince Patrick, do you want to say something? Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question for Bumi. All right, so what role do parents and caregiver play in supporting their children's emotional well-being during the back-to-school transition, and how can schools collaborate with them?
Parents. Well, it is said that, you see, the goal of education has transcended grades, performance, which a lot of parents are consumed with. They are more interested in grades, they are more interested in student performance and all that. And there are two categories of parents. We have the parents that are present, informed, that is, they are informed and they take action. Then there are some parents who are informed, but they are complacent. Informed, take action. Informed, complacent. Then the third category are those who clearly do not know. So they are in the dark about what to do and how to go about it. Now let's take it one after the other. We don't have any problem with those who are informed and take action. We have problem with those who are informed but do not take action. So what is the goal of our PTA meetings? Schools should not focus on discussing only school fees, disciplinary cases with parents. Yes, of course, we have a few schools that engage parents in workshops, keeping parents intentionally abreast of dynamics, the changing dynamics in education. But out of 10 schools, I boldly make to say that only 2 out of 10 schools do this intentionally, deliberately, and strategically. So schools who really have the interest of their students in mind beyond performance. And besides, the emotional well-being of a child impacts heavily on the child's learning outcome at the end of the day. So the school should put a structure on the ground through the platform of the Parent-Teacher Association to organize workshops that will sensitize, and the workshop should be less of talk, more of practical. Bring scenarios, scenarios that parents will be able to connect with, that will bring home the need for them to get involved in the lives of their children. Now, let's talk about the parents themselves. Parents, through the sensitization of the school, they need to know that they need to be present. They need to be involved. They need to listen. When we talk about listening to their children, listening is beyond verbal. Do they listen to the spoken and unspoken words of their children? For example, a child who is usually talkative is now withdrawn. That is communication. That body language speaks volumes. Rather than a parent taking it as, he is growing, puberty has set in. I mean, he's now a big boy, so it's not a problem. And well, I used to be like that when I was growing up. I got over it. We will get over it. No, you never can tell whether that child is traumatized. You never can tell if that child has been abused. So parents, as much as teachers as well, should listen to the spoken and unspoken signals of a child. Then we should be observed. Then parents should also learn to show affection to their children. Learn to hug your child, learn to shake your child. That's the of your child. Another thing that a parent can do is visit your child's school. There are some parents, they don't attend PTA, they don't attend open day, they don't intentionally even put calls across to the teachers to find out, to communicate and to get feedback about their children. Then another thing parents should do, as much as possible, shield your children away from the conflict or the harsh realities of your marriage. Directly or indirectly, parents should work hard at separating their children from their marital struggles. Then another thing parents can do is to place their children on a good diet. Diet has a role to play in the emotional well-being of the child. Yes, we know that, okay, there are some parents who cannot afford it. And that is why we call on philanthropies to intervene in bridging this gap. As much as we're trying to end hunger, zero hunger, a lot of families cannot afford to give their children quality diet, because diet, like I said, goes a long way in affecting the mood of a child, the withdrawal tendency of a child, the activeness of a child, the involvement of a child. So these are some of the things that parents and caregivers in building a positive emotional well-being for their children. If you permit me, I would just like to run through this. They would listen and acknowledge, be present, be involved, be observant, ask good questions. Celebrate your child's progress, however little. Celebrate it with a pat on the back. Model assertiveness. Our children should learn how to be assertive, learn how to say no, learn how to speak up for themselves in a polite way. And they are the best role models after teachers are parents. Parents, teachers should model assertiveness and they should model contentment. You know, one of the reasons why children may have emotional, roller coaster, is the lack of contentment. Oh, student A has this type of phone, or has a laptop, or has this or that, and I don't have it. And then that child begins to withdraw, begins to feel inferior, begins to perform poorly in the classroom. So parents should model assertiveness, model contentment. These are the ways we can help our children build self-confidence, self-esteem that will boost their emotional well-being.
Thank you very much, Bumi, for this wonderful response. Because of time, because this is a scheduled meeting and it's scheduled for 40 minutes and we just have less than 3 minutes. So we have 3 minutes. So if we have anyone with a closing remark before we can end the meeting. So does anybody have anything to say?
Okay. All right.
Any question, any remarks before we call it a day? Because of the time, we have just 3 minutes left. Okay, yes, Prince Patrick, over to you.
I'm so glad that I could listen to Anani today.
Yeah.
Basically, because I have seen teachers who are teaching in the lower classes join and retire at that class. Children will pass and go to higher classes, but teachers don't pass. But I have seen a teacher who passes all together with the students and reach to the higher level. Thank you and congrats. Great knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Prince Patrick, over to you.
And that idea was just, I created a suggestion box. So everybody drops their suggestion, what they have in mind, and we discuss it openly in class, not calling out names. Not calling out names. So at the end of the day, I noticed that these children come to me and say, wow, they are happy that what they have in mind is being spoken out. So it creates a room that they can really air their views, air their voice out, even if it's anonymously, but yet their views are being heard. What they have in mind is being heard. So I feel that is one practical area I have used in the past, and also going to the lower grade, I'm also applying to see how it works out with them. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Any other person, Ruth and Modupe? Any remarks, anything, any question, anything?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for this. And my contribution is just that as an early childhood educator, I am an early childhood educator. And, the thing is, as a teacher, you must just be the reason why a child comes to school. It might just be as simple as your smile. It might just be as little as that. When you welcome them, they feel like this person does it like my mother, this person does it like my father. And you give them a sense of belonging, like